We thank you, Lord God, for the seats that you have given us, Lord, to sit and to be your voice in this city. We ask you, Lord, to have your way in this meeting. Let your will be done, and we give you all the glory, and we thank you for the officials in this city and what will be done, what has been done, and what is going to be done in Montgomery, Alabama. We give you glory and honor. In your name we do pray. Amen.
Amen. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, I need a motion for the work session minutes on February the 19th.
Motion to adopt.
A motion to adopt. All in favor, raise your hand.
7, and I need District 1 and 2 to abstain.
Got them? I need a motion on the regular council meeting minutes for the 19th of February.
Motion to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand. Mr.
8.
Gray won that one.
8, I need District 1 to abstain.
Okay, very good. Okay, Mayor, you're up.
Well, thank you. We have some wonderful opportunity to share some really good news, introduce some folks that have been creating good news for Montgomery, but I think it'd be appropriate, Mr. President, if given the tragedy of Sunday and the loss of life and the heartache and the destruction in Lee County, Beauregard community, and Smith Station, and even as far down as you follow that, we take just a moment in our own way, ask blessings on that community and give them strength to get through this, much like in Wetumpka. The good news in Wetumpka, we just didn't have any loss of life, but catastrophically losing 23 individuals, including 3 youth, it's really a tough situation, and we want to have those families in our thoughts and our prayers. So would you just take a moment in your own way, ask a hand of comfort. Amen. Thank you so much. We have been doing now for 14 months Community Heroes. That's a program for the advertiser, Montgomery Advertiser, that we certainly support. There are many other supporters, and I'll leave others to tell you all about it. But this particular recipient is special to me, is special to our community. He's come on the scene, at least publicly, in the last year or so, and has done yeoman work. He's a leader. He will tell you that he got great training in Mobile at Murphy High School. He is a bit behind me, but Ken Austin is just a wonderful example of the goodness of our community and the people that are out there unsung every day making our community better. Representing the advertiser here is Michael Gavin, who's the president, but Bro Criff is going to make the presentation. Bro is the executive editor, and he just recently got additional responsibilities, and he might not be here as often because he's got to go now all the way to Louisiana to do some of his work. But Bro, if you would come and introduce our community hero.
I appreciate it, Mayor. Council, thank you. I will say, yes, I do have more responsibilities, and times I feel overwhelmed, and then I think about people like Ken Austin, and I realize that I probably don't do enough because he is doing more for this community than I could imagine. I know we have a lot of young folks in the audience today from several high schools and from Boy Scouts, and I think Ken Austin can serve as a champion and as a marker of how you should lead your life and serve your community. I will also say, as much as Ken's name has been in the news lately for what he's been leading on the West Side related to violence and youth violence, we received more nominations for him in the past year than any other person. There are many people in this community that have been adamant that he be honored, and it was worth it. I will tell you why. If you did not read the story, he has a license, a CDL license, so he can drive buses. So every morning he picks up students to make sure that they get to school at Valiant Cross. He picks them up after school. He takes students from all public schools or private schools to events and to after-school programs to make sure that they have an enriched life that they may not always have because of the circumstances that they live in. He understands those circumstances because he was raised in them as well and was led on a path that wasn't the right path until he found God when he was 19 years old, I believe. And when he found him and when he found his way, he felt like the best way was to serve back. So beyond the buses, he also is the minister of a church. He also has opened up the Mercy House that helps the needy on the west side. He works with Common Ground and is in the students' lives and the young men's and women's lives of the west side or any side of the community, I would say. Because he feels that he needs to be there. And he's becoming that father figure that maybe that he didn't have and others don't have in leading the right way. He also is an education champion and believes that as long as you open up people's eyes to what possibilities are and what progress and success looks like, you can be a contributor to this community and you can bring this community to a higher place. Because of that, that's why Ken Austin was our community hero and why he deserves this recognition and why he deserves a round of applause from you. So thank you.
He doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk. He was leading a walk with our Montgomery Saturday morning, and Audrey was there, had some great followers. A couple of hundred people, frankly, were out there. Ken, I cannot tell you how excited I am to be a part of this award. Wendy Lewis, if you would come from Beasley Allen as we make this presentation. We got it here. May we go down front so we can get a picture, and then you'll come back and you may say a word or two. My wife and daughter come up. Yes, absolutely, please. His wife and his daughter.
Ken is smart.
Coming with you, yeah.
Yeah. Hey.
How are you?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council, and my great city of Montgomery. I am honored, humbled to be here. I love this city. I just believe it's the greatest place in the world to live. I'm so thankful for the leadership. I'm so thankful for a mayor that leads us in prayer. I'm so thankful for city council people who love school and love kids and love education and love community. I'm just thankful to be a part of Montgomery, and I work hard every day to make it better than I found it. And again, thank you for this honor.
In the simple vernacular on his tombstone, there will be what Larry Puckett's always said. The goal is to leave the campground a little bit cleaner than you found it. And Ken Austin is doing that. And we're so happy that you've moved away from the Washington Park to the greater part of Montgomery as you're helping Montgomery have a cleaner campground. So congratulations and thank you. But I will also tell you, his work has just begun. He's that kind of guy. So, Ken, congratulations to you. All right, we have some, where's Wendy Anzalone? Where's Wendy? I saw John come in. Yeah, come on up, Wendy. Wendy's got a blue dress on. Does anybody know what the blue dress means?
Yes.
Well, if you didn't watch TV, Johnny, you got a blue dress on? Hey.
Thank you.
This is the group that really is supporting March as the Cancer Awareness Month. She runs the Wellness Foundation, but this certificate is specifically talking about the National Women in Blue Raising Colon Cancer Awareness for Me and You Month. So if I may present this to you, and then you, Wendy, can speak on behalf of all of these individuals. So thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for bringing this nasty disease that we have to the forefront, because one of these days, we're going to concentrate, women and men as well, are going to be free of that disease. So please welcome Wendy Anzalone.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, City Council. The ladies who are with me are the Women in Blue, who've dedicated themselves this month to raising awareness for colon cancer. Colon cancer is the #2 cancer killer, but it is one of the most treatable if caught early. So that's our goal, is to get folks into their doctors to see what they can do to get screened. Early detection is key, and I'm so pleased these ladies have committed themselves to this cause with me. Here with me today is our Board President, Jennifer Connor, Melissa Bowman, Lisa Farmer, Susan Reed. That's everybody. Susan Reed is actually the administrator of our Montgomery Cancer Center. She does good work with us every day, helping to ensure that the cancer patients in the River region are getting the help that they need. Thank you all for this honor. We appreciate it.
We're going to get a picture of this.
Slide down, Wendy. Get in the middle, Wendy. Move.
Sunday, March 10th, Montgomery Museum of Fine Arts, supported by the city and the county, is opening their doors for City-County Appreciation Day. Sometime around the noon hour, as you can see, go to church and come out and get some good barbecue from Dreamland and mix and mingle with the families of our city and the county. Wanted to make sure that you knew about that and to have some opportunity to thank the library, thank the Museum of Fine Arts of what they are doing. There's a new exhibit there. The sculpture garden's got some wonderful, wonderful pieces in there. 17 Alabama high schools scored points at last month's 1A to 3A state championship meet for indoor track and field. But before the gun went off for the first rate, track observers predicted the title would come down to two schools, Whitesburg Christian Academy in Huntsville and St. James School right here in Montgomery, Alabama. The Lady Trojans had a few obstacles to overcome. AHSAA rules that place a limit on the number of events in which a student athlete can compete, one of its star runners battling a possible fever and a very young squad. 7 of the 16 girls on the St. James roster were rookies competing in their first season. That's some good news. In earlier meets, the girls showed that they had talent, but would they have the composure to, quote, rise to the occasion? when it mattered the most. During the course of the two-day meet, 11 girls turned in the best performances of their lives, setting personal best and in some cases establishing new school records. When the final points were tallied, St. James earned the coveted blue trophy by a margin of 14 points over Whitesburg. The team's head coach is Kevin Madden. Kevin, if you would come and receive the congratulations from the city council on this great victory, and then we'll call each of your young ladies up to give them a certificate as well. Congratulations, Kevin. Thank you very much. Yeah. You're speaking for all of them.
Well, I probably don't need a microphone.
Oh, what you do for the TV?
Oh, for the TV, okay. All right. Well, just to be brief, I would like to express deep appreciation, first of all, for your honor and council members for honoring these great athletes this way. At St. James, I've been blessed with the greatest administration, our head of school, two amazing principals devoted to a mission of developing well-rounded women and men of character, an amazing athletic director, great assistant coaches, the support of incredible parents, and I've been privileged to coach these young women who are amazing athletes, but not just athletes, student athletes. If you were to look at their GPA, it's better than any athletic record they've established. They're all brilliant young ladies. And so I'm blessed, and it's been a distinct honor, and I'm just privileged to be along for the ride. Thank you.
Coach, let's go stand up here and we'll give these certificates.
Coach Madden didn't do it all alone. Mary Grace Hickson is one of his assistant coaches. Oh, the mom. I'm sorry, that was one of the runners. Assistant coach Micah Britton. Majesty is not here either. Danita Harrington. Neither is Danita. They've won the state championship and they just don't care. No, they all care. Assistant coach Greg Miles. His name is synonymous with running. And if we have loved ones of the team members, if you want to come up way close, all of you in the back, come on, don't be shy, unless you know that you're going to be here again next year. Sydney Hart, an athlete. Sydney Beavers. Hannah Raines gets her ability from her dad and her mom, of course. Caroline Gregory. Sophie Caradori. A member of the 4x400 meter relay where she set a personal best, Lena Harwick. Okay. These next two ladies had the right stuff in the 4x800 meter relay. Aubrey Wright. Kendall Wright. Also setting a best in that 4x800, Addison Ritchie. That team came in 6th place in the state. And the 4th member of that relay, Isabel Cabral. A personal best on both the 4x200 and the 4x400, Kendall Hardaway. Personal best in the 4x200 and the 4x400, also Hannah Richardson. Ran a personal best in the 60-meter hurdles, the 4x200, and the triple jump. Ran their best time of the year in the 4x400, Margaret Ann McNeil. Logan Dean holds St. James records in 4 events, 3 of them set at the championship meet in the 60-meter hurdles, the long jump, and the 60-meter dash. She's the 1A, 3A champion in the long jump and 60-meter hurdles, Logan Dean. Now, in the history of girls indoor track in Alabama, there have been 3 athletes who've scored championships in 4 events at the same meet, but they've always been track events and field events, normally sprinters, and then field events that also relied on speed, until this year when one woman won 4 running events, starting with the longest sprint all the way up to the longest race on the track. It would be the equivalent of Usain Bolt coming here on Saturday and winning the half marathon. The 1A, 3A champion in the 2-lap race, the 4-lap race, the 8-lap race, the 16-lap race. That's the metric equivalent, Mayor, of the quarter mile, the half mile, the full mile, and the 2-mile distances. She owns the school records in all 4 events, and she's the first athlete, male or female, to accomplish this feat, Presley Miles. There they are, your 1A, 3A state champions in indoor women's track and field. That's it. Go ahead, you guys can come on the other side of the pole, please.
We're going to do a couple. Griffith's going to keep one, then I'm going to do it. All right, looking right here. All right, you're going 3, 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Thanks.
Maybe the parents. Mayor Glenn said you should be down front. Couldn't get back up. I got it. Yeah.
Thank you.
They all left. You through? Okay. Any special committee reports?
Mr. President, we met today with the committee, and we're going to meet in the following 2 weeks. We've got some numbers that we've gotten from the police and fire department. When we get everything put together, we'll get you guys a copy of what we're talking about and looking at.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mr. President.
Madam Clerk, first item.
Mr. President, item 1, appeal of proposed demolition of 1027 North Decatur Street by Ms. Harris.
Ms. Harris here. Ms. Harris. Okay. Need a motion to uphold this, please.
Mr. President, I'd like to ask Mr. Russell from Code and Inspections to address this issue and whether he had a conversation with Ms. Harris today.
I did have a conversation with Ms. Harris today.
Pull the mic down.
I did have conversation with Ms. Harris today, and as you saw in an email that I also forwarded back to everyone, specifically addressing 3 items. Now, this house was served notice along with Ms. Harris 3 months ago. It was carried over in February. We're simply asking that within the next 60 days that they repair the rotten wood on the exterior. They paint the exposed wood, protect it from the elements, and repair some failing piers. And so I do ask that this be upheld and that we move forward with compliance efforts in relation to this.
Before we vote on that, how long has this house been vacant?
Yeah, she said that.
I do not know.
Huh?
I do not know.
Don't know. I mean,
Safely since before 2016.
Yeah, it says in here that the home has not been occupied since approximately 2006.
Oh my God. Okay.
Mr. Russell, did you get a response from Ms. Harris with regard to the timeline that you recommended that something be done?
She sent a very wordy reply that I received at about 4:15 today. There again, it looks as though she's looking to postpone this. We've already carried it over one time. She's looking at carrying it over into April before any conversation or further conversation is made. And what you see is what we have.
That bad inside of it, okay.
To this date, she has resecured 2 openings.
Yeah, I went by this afternoon. It's got broken windows in it. It's bad shape.
So her idea is to carry it over into the month of April?
Yes, sir.
Just keep begging. Yeah.
Well, if she has the 60-day compliance mandate, that does carry it into the month of April anyway, does it not?
What I'm committing to you and to her is to provide 60 days for her to do the 3 things that I've requested. I believe that that's ample time to replace some rotten boards, correct some failing piers, and put some paint on a building.
And by your action tonight, that clock would start.
Give us, it gets us 60 days, okay. Any more questions?
Well, I would just like to make the point that what she says in one of her lengthy replies in an earlier email to you, Mr. Russell, she raises issues of environmental justice and injustice, which may have no direct relevance to the situation that we're dealing with today. She talks about the fact that a steel company is located right next to the house, and that the city of Montgomery, in its negligence, I suppose, many years ago, allowed this major industry, a major polluting industry, to locate next to her family home. And she talks about the health issues and the public safety issues that are endemic in a situation where a municipality allows a polluting and possibly a business that could possibly cause health concerns to locate next to a house. And of course, she wants to make the issue that because it was in a neighborhood that was occupied largely by people of color, that the city allowed this to happen.
I'm unaware of any such connections between what was just spoken of. What we're dealing with is a house that's in disrepair. Simply stated, we're looking for you to uphold a decision that our office has made.
Yes.
And in terms of whether or not there's other issues, those don't relate to the building department, which is my job right now to make sure that we gain compliance with structures such as this. And this is in direct reply in many ways to what you're looking for in relation to a vacant structure coming into compliance with current ordinances.
It absolutely is. And we have many more of similar situations in the city that we need to address more directly.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Get a motion.
I'll make a motion to uphold.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Item 2, ordinance adopting regulations regarding the registration and maintenance of vacant buildings and enforcement procedures and penalties.
Mr. Larkin.
Mr. President and Council, I have some images, and I'd like you to direct your attention to the big screen, please. The adage, a picture is worth 1,000 words. I would like to display in some poignant terms and images the need for this ordinance addressing vacant properties, both residential and commercial, in the city of Montgomery. As we all know, in recent years, we've witnessed a dramatic increase in the number of vacant or abandoned properties here in the city of Montgomery. The severity of this problem varies from neighborhood to neighborhood, but many are affected. In some of our neighborhoods, a few vacant properties with overgrown grass and weeds and junk and trash and other assorted debris cause problems. In other neighborhoods, the problem is more pronounced. Vacant or abandoned buildings attract squatters, they attract scavengers, they attract derelicts, they attract drug addicts, they attract gangs, leading to an increase in crime, arson, and much more. This crisis threatens to destroy the entire neighborhood, creating a cycle of disinvestment and a cycle of disinvestment and decay. A cluster, as you know, of vacant houses can destabilize an entire block. A cluster of troubled blocks can destroy an entire neighborhood. And the monetary costs of this growing problem are extremely high. One recent study suggests that local governments can easily spend from $5,000 to $35,000 annually to maintain a secure, a single vacant property in a neighborhood. So as the number of vacant or abandoned properties continues to grow, the need for government services to monitor these properties grows also. So as the property values plummet, so does the number of homes paying property taxes in that neighborhood. And with a reduction in the amount of property taxes being collected, government resources to address the problem are significantly reduced. We do have a crisis threatening to destroy entire neighborhoods in our city because of these vacant or abandoned buildings, and that's why I believe that we have to act with urgency, the need to act on this ordinance to reduce the blight caused by these vacant or abandoned properties in our city. And with that, Mr. President, I would like to call for a vote on this ordinance.
Okay. Have a motion to adopt. All in favor, raise your hand.
3.
All opposed, same sign.
4. I'm missing 2 and 6 is vote.
What's 6?
You abstaining?
Opposed? And I'd like to point out the reason why I oppose is I don't think that the ordinance itself has enough teeth in it to make the property owner do what the ordinance says it's going to do.
Okay, are you voting no?
Yes.
Okay, so that changes it to 5, 3 yeses, 5 noes, and Councilor Bell, your vote? You want to abstain?
Yes, sir, Ms. Bell. Ms. Bell.
You know, we just had a great presentation in the work session, and it points out the number of buildings or properties that are in need of some kind of repair. So there is a need. I think we need an ordinance. And I want to vote for the ordinance, but I have some reservations about voting for it, not about what it does, but some of the language in it. And so if I could, and I know I don't want to take a lot of time, but I would like to ask, it's a legal question now. Let me just put this. I'm a lawyer, but I'm not a lawyer on this board, but I don't leave my lawyer sense at home just because I'm on the council. One of the problems I have with it, and I think having talked with, I think it can be resolved. But the first thing it says, whereas the City Council of the City of Montgomery, Alabama finds, I don't have my glasses in, what is it, determines and declares that, let me see, unaccepted, unoccupied and vacant buildings become an attractive nuisance to children, an invitation to derelicts, vagrants, criminals, a harborage of rodents, vermin, and other pets, all these big words, and create a fire and safety hazard. So if that is the case, then I've talked to Councilman Larkin, I would have some reservations about giving an exemption to anybody. Because what we are doing, we are trying to control conduct and not who does it. So I have some reservations about extending exemptions to persons who contribute to these unoccupied buildings. That's one thing I have. And if I can invite your attention to number 7. Number 7, it talks about, and if you would bear with me, the last paragraph in number 7, under number 7, I'm a little hesitant to vote for something that imposes a fee at the city level, $500 for each offense. If we go to the municipal court, we know that. Plus, there is a cost to court. And I don't have any problem with that because I think that if somebody violates an ordinance and they don't, they're committing a crime, that's what it is, it's a quasi-criminal act. But what it says, each day that a violation continues shall constitute a separate and distinct offense. Now, what I'm looking at is that, you know, and I don't want to get off to this legal stuff, but the Eighth Amendment says you shouldn't have outrageous fine or excessive fine. And I really think that when you have a violation and you say each day that violation goes forward constitutes another and distinct offense, what you're saying for day 1 and 30-day period, if you find somebody $500, what are you looking at, over $1,500? Am I correct in my math? I wasn't good at math in school. But I just don't think that it ought to be each day. I would go along with it if it's for every 30 days. Now, having said that, if we go on the back side of D, where it says the amount of a fine issued under this article inclusive of cost and boarding, including grass, blah, 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 blah. But it also says something about the person who is violates this ordinance has to pay inspectors and attorney's fees. I mean, I'm an attorney and I make money off of being an attorney, but I think that when you have a criminal, when you make a criminal offense, you're gonna get charged for violating the ordinance, Now, as it's written, you're going to come back and ask for attorney fees for someone who prosecutes this. I just don't think that's, I just don't think that's, we ought to do that. And it's not here, my disagreement is not to help those people who are frequently violating the ordinance, but it's for the help that one person, Aunt Lizzie, who may be 90 years old, who's rented to her, to my first cousin or somebody, and that person doesn't take care of the property, moves out. I just don't think that we ought to have it, that we are going to charge people for attorney fees if we are going to prosecute them criminally. And so I think the fine, now, it says fees. I'm not talking about fines. But if we're going to prosecute them and send them to jail, they're subject to going to jail. Am I right, Ms. Vail, for 180 days?
That's the authority of the municipal court.
Yes, ma'am. But what I'm saying, if I'm a municipal judge, so if someone comes there, as the municipal judge, I have the authority to send that person to jail for 180 days, charge that person $500, charge that person cost to court. And if I'm on one of my bad days and have not taken my medicine, okay, then I'm saying that I could go, man, you had this thing going for 20 days, I'm going to charge you $500. I just don't, I think we have the authority to do it, but I don't think we ought to do it. I think we ought to look at the Constitution due process, and the more Constitution, we have more amendments to the Constitution than the Second Amendment. I just think we ought to adhere to all amendments. Now, that's my little put on it. I'm ready to vote for it, Mr. Larkin, but I would only vote for it if we could get around this one.
Well, let me be clear, Mr. Bell, on what your concerns or your differences are. I do understand what the latter, having to do with including inspector and attorney fees. You would like to see that deleted from the ordinance, as I understand it. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Unless you can show me that it won't be overwhelming. I mean, I'm one of the cheapest attorneys in town. If I go do it, I know I'm going to charge, and so I wouldn't suspect that anybody from the city, they make way more money than I am. You got to pay what is reasonable. So you might end up paying $4,000 or $3,000 on a $500 cost. And we say that if it's found to be unconstitutional, we're separated, that's good, but you cannot question the constitutionality of an ordinance in municipal court. So who in the devil is going to pay me $4,000 to take it up to the circuit court to defend it? I'm going to charge you $5,000 or $6,000 to take it up to the civil court, then to the Supreme Court. Why would somebody want to pay $10,000 to contest the constitutionality of an ordinance, so when we can make it constitutional right now?
All right, that has to do with the inspector and attorney fees.
Yes, attorney fees. I'm okay with
the
inspector.
Now, the other concern that you raised has to do with exemptions. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir. If someone is committing a crime, why would we exempt them? If a preacher, brother Ken Austin back there, I love him, and if he's out there runs into somebody's car, you don't exempt him because he's a preacher. We're not looking at who does it. We ought to be looking at what is done. So if someone causes if the church of the Fred Bell is violating the ordinance, I don't think I ought to be exempt.
So are you suggesting that we delete all exemptions or just some of them?
I think we should delete every exemption there, because if you're saying that there's a problem, and I agree with you, there's a problem. Why should we exempt a person who causes the problem? Now, as a municipal court, you can have the judge should be able to hear the reasons, but I don't think, because if you're going to exempt me from I own my house, I'm gonna just go get me a church of 5 people and say, listen, I'm a church, or some way I can get around the exemption.
Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
I was just going to ask, I mean, and Mr. Larkin and them have a right to bring it back up, but have we
Not
voted
without a
on this?
motion. The ordinance has failed at this point.
That's what I thought.
It has failed
Mr.
3 to 5.
Mr. Bell's vote will not change anything, right?
No, sir, it would
Okay,
not.
then.
If he
I voted for
changes
it.
it,
Motion's over.
if
I
he
voted for
changes
it.
it to a
It's
yes,
over.
it would change it 4 to 5, which means that the ordinance would fail.
Madam Clerk, can we have a reading of
You can make a motion to reconsider. Someone on the prevailing side can make a motion to reconsider the denial, which would be either districts 1, 2, 7, 8, or 9 could make a motion to reconsider the ordinance at this point.
So it was districts 1, 2, 7, 8, and 9 that voted against it?
That's correct. They're the prevailing side at this point.
Okay.
Is there any individual on the prevailing side who would like to make a motion to reconsider the ordinance?
I think not.
Okay.
Well, I think this is a pure
It's over.
and clear demonstration of voting against the people and voting for the special interests.
I take offense to that. I do.
Yeah,
We've got in here for 2 hours on a proposal, and everybody saw this council saying that's a bunch of crap.
You may take exemption,
That's not right.
you may take exemption, but a fact is a fact.
The clerk needs to clarify Mr. Bell's
Item
vote.
3. Bring up Mr.
I need to know how Mr. Bell voted. Are
He
you
voted
voting
against.
yes?
You voted for it.
You voted for it?
Okay.
voted
I'll
for it.
change
Okay.
yours to, it was 4 for it, which is going to include 6 and 5 to 9.
Okay.
The ordinance
All right, next item,
fails.
please.
Item 3, resolution designating Councilor Graham as the voting delegate for the Alabama League of Municipalities Convention, May 4th through the 7th.
Need a motion to suspend the
Motion to
rules,
suspend the
please.
rules.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Motion to
Unanimous.
adopt.
Motion to adopt. All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Resolution is adopted. Hold on just a moment. I have a council member that just left. I've got to get the time down.
Madam Clerk,
Yes, sir.
are you going to transmit that to the league office?
Yes, sir, I will. When we get the resolution signed, we'll send them a copy of it. Item 4, application for retail beer and retail table wine off premises only, doing business as Lions Pride, 3000 Vaughn Road.
Representative Alliance Pride, here, please. Yes, sir. Your name for the record, sir?
Patel.
Patel? Okay. This is a public hearing. Anyone would like to speak against this item, please come forward. Seeing none, declare the public hearing has been held as part for the council. Need a motion?
Move to suspend the rules.
Have a motion to suspend the rules. All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous.
Move to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Resolution is
Good luck
adopted.
with your business, sir.
Item 5, application for retail beer and retail table wine off premises only, doing business as Sitco Food Mart, 1600 South Decatur Street.
Representative, your name for the record, sir?
Chris Hargett.
All right, Chris. This is a public hearing. Anyone would like to speak against this item, please come forward. Seeing none, declare the public hearing's been held as part for the council. Need a motion?
Mr. President, I have a question and a comment or two.
Okay.
About this application. Could we have someone who is directly responsible for the operation of this business, Mr. Hargett?
Yes, he is here tonight. It's a transfer too, by the way.
Yes, sir. The point I want to make is there have been concerns raised by neighborhood leadership and residents of the neighborhood and the community, the immediate community, about some of the activities that take place at this establishment. It is at a very critical and crucial gateway to a very dignified and respected neighborhood. There have been complaints about loitering. There have been complaints about excessive noise, people hanging out, excessive litter in the parking lot, not being kept on a regular basis. Those issues are important, and I would like to today elicit from the lessee or the owner of this property some commitment that there will be a more circumspect approach to operating this business at that gateway to the community.
Yes, sir. We do it, sir. We like to do like best way we can, I like to, whatever you sharing this meeting, we will go forward and we'll try to keep clean this area and if anybody loitering or hang out, we'll try to keep it straight.
Are you aware of some of the problems that were mentioned?
Yeah.
You are aware of some of the problems that exist there?
Yeah, we just, now we've been trying our best. We can, but some people, they just keep come back. But, we call, cop now. So every day.
I mean, they do, but are there not additional measures that can be taken to discourage that kind of behavior at that location?
I don't know, sir, about it. I don't know.
Security, possibly?
Yeah.
Or some kind of policing of the exterior of the building?
Yeah, we'll try it.
Is that a commitment?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. There are problems, and I should caution you to understand that if these problems do continue, that we do have, as council representatives, the option of asking you to come back before the council to address those issues.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Anything else? Need a motion?
Move to adopt.
Motion to suspend rules. All in favor, raise your hand. And did we already do that?
No.
We didn't.
You didn't? Okay.
No.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Motion to suspend the rules.
Unanimous.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous.
Very good. Good luck with
Resolution is
business. Thank
adopted.
you.
Item 6, application for lounge retail liquor Class 1 license doing business as Poor Stars, 557 Northeastern Boulevard.
Is this you?
I think so.
Your name for the record, sir?
Jerry Ward.
Okay, Jerry.
I'm Lauren Harrell.
Okay, Lauren. This is a public hearing. Anyone like to speak against this item, please come forward. Seeing none, declare the public hearing's been held. It's brought before the council. Need a motion?
Motion to suspend the rules.
Have motion to suspend rules. All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous.
Move to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Resolution is adopted.
Good luck with your business.
Item 7, resolution appointing Jason Gardner to the Greater Montgomery Educational Building Authority.
Suspend
Motion to
on
suspend the rules
rest of the agenda.
on the rest of the agenda.
Okay, all in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Resolution is adopted. Item 8, resolution reappointing Walter McKay to the Greater Montgomery Educational Building Authority.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Resolution is adopted. Item 9, pursuant to Section 1153B1 Code of Alabama, authorization of demolition of unsafe structures at the listed locations.
Motion to uphold.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Item 10, resolution assessing the cost of abatement of unsafe structures on various lots.
Motion to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Resolution is adopted. 11, resolution declaring, authorizing, and assessing cost of abatement of public nuisances on various lots.
What you got for us tonight, man?
Year-to-date, our department has responded to 3,795 complaints and have found 3,151 of those in violation. This evening, we are asking for approval for 187 properties.
Motion to adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Unanimous.
Okay.
Resolution is adopted.
Madam Clerk, you have,
Yes, sir. I put before you some contingency funds that the mayor has approved. District 1, $300 to Bellhurst Homeowners Association. District 2, $650 to Montgomery County Board of Education for Lee High School. $1,000 to Leadership Montgomery for Capitol Heights Middle School. $1,500 to Madison Park Reunion Community Organization.
anybody else?
Yes.
Yes, sir, Mr. Bell.
Madam Clerk, I have,
Bell first.
No, he
I'm sorry.
He outranked me.
Mr. Larkin, go ahead first. And get
It's, I did send an email today that apparently you didn't receive.
No, sir. I've been in ad hoc since
Okay.
about 2 o'clock.
I don't have a copy of it here,
Okay.
and I can't remember exactly what it was. But,
You got a copy of your book?
but I would like to have it adopted because,
We can't adopt anything that's not before the council. I'm sorry. You'll either have to remember them and give them to us or do it the next time. But the council can't vote on anything that's not in front of them.
I do understand that.
It was for Willie
It
Cook,
would-
wasn't it? I thought it was for Willie Cook.
I'm sorry I missed it.
No. Ms. Larkin,
I'll see if I can.
Willie Cook?
Go ahead and do your.
I'm sorry. I'll see if I can retrieve it.
Mr. Larkin has it in his phone.
One he said for Willie Cook was in District 6, the center, Mr. Larkin.
Sir, I'm sorry.
I thought you said that. Maybe I misread you.
I'm confused.
Okay. I would like to, to the extent I have it in the contingency fund, I think the Sunshine Center does a good job, and I'd like to give them $500 for my contingency. I know I don't have much more than that, but I would love that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
District 5?
Go ahead.
Yeah, District 5, $500 for the Sunshine Fund.
Okay.
Mr. General?
Anybody else?
Yes, sir. District 7, $2,000 to That's My Child, and $500 to Sunshine Center.
How much? 500 to Sunshine?
Yes, ma'am.
That's my child.
Mm-hmm. It's my brother, Charles Lee.
Oh, I promised him to, I was going to do, I'll do $500 to that, but I was going to do it on the, let me ask you, would it get to him quicker if we do it this way than doing it on the rental tax? Do you know? No different?
It's about 6 of one, half dozen of the other, whichever way you want to do it.
Well, I'll just do it on the rental tax.
Okay. You gonna send me a memo on that?
Yeah.
I need to do 2,000 to South Lawn Elementary School.
It's already been done.
No.
That is to replace one.
Yeah.
We have it in the minutes at South Lawn Middle School, and she wants to cancel that check, so I told her because it's spread in the minutes, she needs to do a new allocation.
Okay.
Anything else?
And where, Madam Clerk, where will that check be sent?
South Lawn.
We've had some conversations with the finance director at the school. Their request is that any of these requests that come from various schools and coaches and things like that, that the funds be sent to the central office, to the chief financial officer designated for, and therefore they would not be in the hands of various entities because they've had some control issues about people establishing accounts. So what we've agreed to do is to send it through the school system to the attention of the chief financial officer on behalf of
Change our address.
baseball, football, South Lawn Middle, or whatever that is.
What type of
So-
assurances do they give us that that money's going to go there? Because
I'm
you know,
sorry.
in our discussions with the Board of Education, they tell us basically just give them the money and they can do whatever they want to do.
No. It will be, as long as we say for a specific scenario, it will get there.
Well, may I respond to that? Let me just tell you how I feel about that. To me personally, if the Montgomery school system on the intervention as it is, we're gonna have our insurances because the state controls that money, not the local school system. And so I would have me personally, I don't speak for anybody up here, I would have all kinds of reservations by sending it to the chief financial officers. because I don't think they're going to use it in the best interest for the boys and girls of Montgomery County. And I just wouldn't, before I send it to the chief financial officer, I just would not give anything else to the Montgomery School Board, whether it's a high school, a junior high or not. I don't have the confidence in a mayor that you have. And I say that and I shut up.
Well, let me just say this. If they do not do as we direct them, then that would be a violation and would be caught in the audit, just like the other situations have been caught in audits where other accounts have been established outside of the school system, which is a violation of the law.
Yeah, I agree with you.
From that standpoint, we don't have much choice in the school system if they're directing us to only send checks to the finance director, who will then give a check, not our check, but their check to the respective individuals.
Yeah, but let's just talk about this, if I may, Mr. Jenwright. There's a hidden account, and you know it, that they had all kind of money in it, and that money had to come through the finance director. So if he couldn't catch that much money that's in that hidden account, he sure can't catch my little $500. I don't trust him, and I'm not gonna send any money to him.
Let me ask you something, Mayor. If someone asks us for money, and we say we gave the check to the finance director or whatever, and then they don't give the money to the person to whom we want it to go, we don't have to wait for an audit, do we?
Sir,
I mean, you said audit. You said we'll catch it in the audit. That happens annually, I assume. And what I'm saying is there, if someone asks me for money this month, I cut a check and they get it next Friday. I take it down to the office. 3 months later, they still haven't gotten it. And I come back and tell you, I mean, what kind of do we have to wait for an audit? I mean, they're not giving them the money. What if they say, well, we got to process it first?
Well, first of all, if you know that there's a check that's going to XYZ, and in a reasonable period of time that person has not gotten the check, then a call to our finance director, who would call their finance director and say, hey, where's that check?
Okay. And what's considered a reasonable amount of time?
I would think
3 months,
a couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks?
Yeah.
Sound
I would
good to me
think a couple of weeks.
So do I need to give this check back to Mr. Weaver then and have it reprocessed for?
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Well, I thought that was the check she was going to cancel anyway.
No. This is the correct check.
Oh.
They had already cut a check for what she
Don't
was
worry about it.
requesting, and I told her she needed to go through this to have it.
Just go ahead.
I told them that our next meeting that we would make sure that it only goes to the central office with a designation for a particular school.
Well, man, I wish you had made that commitment on behalf of Fred Bell, because I'm not going to send anything to them. I mean, I'm just going to disagree with you on that. As a city council person, as long as that person is authorized, what's wrong with us sending it to the principal? I got more confidence in the principal, Gary Hall, over Carver than I have for some of the people work down. I just don't think that's maybe your decision, and I respect that, but that's not my decision. And we just have to fight this one out, because I'm not going to take one down to. There's no guarantee that they're going to use that money. When you put that money in the general fund, they're going to use it the way they want to. I'm not saying they won't, but I don't see anything wrong with you giving that test it. Go down there and give it to the principal. And if they want to raise some sand with you, I'll represent you. Go.
And Mayor, what I'm saying is, the city has no authority over the Board of Education to tell them what to do. And they have already demonstrated in the past that they're going to do what they want to do, regardless of what we think. So what I'm saying is, I understand that's what they told you. But when push came to shove, and we were trying to find out, when I first got in office, we were trying to find out what they were going to do to fix the failing schools. They basically told us to go kick rocks. So what I'm saying is, they've already demonstrated that they don't want to give money to these teams. These kids don't have uniforms, and they're coming to us, band, instruments, all of this. They don't have a priority. That's not a priority of theirs. So if we give them the money and they put the money in and something comes up, I mean, it seems to me like we're supposed to give the money to them. They then supposed to cash a check, put it in their general fund. Then they supposed to cash a check to give it to these individuals. I'm just saying, I mean, what authority do we have to tell them that they can't do that? And I don't see any anywhere, because they told us that we don't have any authority over it.
The authority is, if you tell them that you need to send it to the Lanier Band, it's going to get to the Lanier Band. Because at the end of the day, we would be complicit in, as an example, the Lanier band director taking that money, putting it in a personal account and using it for something else. That's what this is all about. That's what you've read in the newspaper about, that certain individuals were not, were using it for their own personal gains.
But that wasn't on the school level. That was up in the central office level. So if we take that argument, we ought not be able to trust the people.
No, sir. It was in the sports arenas.
Yeah, but that's not at the school level.
Yes, it was. It was sent to a coach.
It was the coaches did.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, but they send it.
Coach did.
So, but basically, I can go ahead and take
Yes,
this down and
Send that.
thank you.
Okay, we can discuss. All right, anybody else got anything else to say? Need a
Mr.
motion
Mayor,
to
you-
adopt this?
Motion to
Ma'am?
adopt.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Sure, yeah, that's fine.
Unanimous.
Okay. All right. In our public communication roster, non-agenda items, Lisa?